All right, so we're going to start with Focus and Directrix. That's our sixth lesson. And we're going to start this with an opener. These are Fortnite characters, and my question is, what path could you take to stay away from or to avoid any character of Fortnite, right? So this is, according to what my students told me, one of the more powerful skins, and these are other ones that are in a row. And so one thing you could do is stay directly in between. And so we're going to try to avoid any Fortnite character by not getting too close. And so we should be able to see that we can go like this. This is a path that we can take that it's the same distance away from each, right? Same distance away from each. And then I can also do this right here. So this shape right here, right, makes a little parabola, makes a quadratic, okay? So we're going to go ahead and use this to get into our lesson. So we have a couple of specific words here. So we have the word focus, and we have a focus is a point. So I just want you to label this. Focus is a point, and a directrix is a line. Okay. So directrix, this right here is a line. Please take that note. So the first thing you want to do is graph anything that they give you. So they give you a point of 2, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Whenever you're doing a question with focus and directrix, you should always ask for graph paper or find graph paper. Um, After they gave us that point of a focus of 2 comma 4, they also told us that the directrix is at the line y equals -6. So I'm just going to go ahead and just show you real quick, right? Y equals -6. Let's use purple. So this is -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6. So right here is our line. And what you need to know about our parabola is the vertex, which is the either the minimum point or the maximum point, is always going to be directly halfway. So if I look at this is -6, this is 4, so I'm going to look halfway. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I'm going to go up 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right here. Let me just go ahead and change my color. Let's do some burgundy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So this right here is going to be my vertex, and I can check it that it's halfway. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're good. Okay. So this point is our vertex. And so let's go ahead and write the coordinates of our vertex. It's 2, comma, -1, 2, comma, -1. And then, so now we've done our vertex. The next thing we want to do is we want to see which direction our parabola is going to go. Is it going to be up, happy face, or is it going to be down, sad face? But what did we just learn, right? It can never cross the directrix, can never cross that line, so it has to go in the direction of our focus, right? Here's our focus right here. In case we forgot, let's just go ahead and label that, right? Focus. And so this is going to be what our parabola is going to look like, okay? The next thing we want to do is we want to find P. We want to find P. So this right here, P, is basically what we counted right here, right? So this is halfway between the focus and the directrix. So we counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So our P is equal to 5. Since this is happy face, that P is going to be positive. If it was sad face, like going down, then the P would be negative. All right. So we've determined the P, we found the vertex, and now we're going to substitute our vertex and our P into our formula. So let's go back over here, right? Here's our little formula, right? I prefer to use this one right here. So we have, let's write this down, y equals 1 over 4p x minus h squared plus k, okay? So there's our formula. Let me just make this a little bit smaller so we can see everything in one spot. So the next thing we're going to do is we're just going to plug in things, right? So we have y equals, okay? We have a p, which we found already. A p is 5. Our h and our k are these right here. This is our h and this is our k. It's always the coordinates of our vertex, never of the focus. So let's start plugging in. 1 over 4, and our p is 5. Again, it's positive because it's facing up. All right, and then we have x minus, so our h here is 2. So I'm going to do x minus 2. That's always going to be squared. And then we're going to do plus k. And our k here is a negative 1, right? So positive times negative is a negative. So we put a negative 1 there. All right. So now it says, lastly, we're going to simplify. Let me just change colors here. Let's do some bright orange because we're happy that it's almost done. So 1 over 4 times 5 is 20. X minus 2, can't simplify that, so we're going to leave it as x minus 2 squared. And we already did the plus 1 times a negative 1 is a minus 1. And this is the equation of our parabola. That's going to be this equation, right? The one that we just found. All right, pretty straightforward. Example 2. So now we have to find the focus of the parabola. So the way that we do this is by looking to see, we have our formula, so determine the vertex, right? So we have y equals 1 over 4p, parentheses, x minus h squared plus k. So we want to get this into that form, right? So let's see if we can get the y by itself. So what I would do here to get the y by itself first is, right, I would get rid of this negative 8. This is being held together by multiplication. The opposite of multiplication is division. So we're going to divide both sides by negative 8. This cancels out. So we have y plus 2 is equal to x minus 3 squared over negative 8. And we got to get the y by itself by subtracting 2. Right, so minus 2, minus 2. So our whole thing is going to be y equals, this cancels out. If there's no number on top, there's an imaginary one, so 1 over negative 8, right? And then this is going to be x minus 3 squared, and this is minus 2, or negative 2, right? So we want to find the focus, but before we can do that, we want to find the vertex. Okay, so the vertex, remember what we talked about is, this is, right, if we have our vertex, that's our h and our k. So in our formula, whatever our h is, you're going to flip the sign. See this minus sign? So the opposite of negative 3 is going to be positive 3. So our h is going to be positive 3. And our k is going to be whatever's here by itself. And so if I look over here by itself, it's negative 2. So our k is negative 2. So now we found our vertex. This is our vertex. Are we looking for the vertex? No, we're not. We're looking for the focus. So let's go ahead and graph this right here. So we have 3, comma, negative 2, 1, 2, 3, negative 1, negative 2, right? So this is our vertex. So since I know that, well, we don't know what our directrix is, but we can find it, right? We're given enough clues to be able to find it. So let me just go ahead and just switch colors here. This is going to be a big clue, right? Our P is, right, this is 4 times P. So we have our 4P is equal to, this is on the bottom, so that's equal to negative 8. So can we find P? Yes, divide both sides by 4, divide both sides by 4. So P is equal to negative 2. Remember what we talked about, right? So now we have our vertex, we have our P. So our P, since it's negative, that we know that it's a sad face, right? It's going to be facing down. And so this is going to be 2 distance away from our vertex, right? So we're going to go up to, this is either going to be our focus or directrix, and we're going to go down to, this is going to be either our focus or directrix, okay? So to finish the problem off, all we have to do is remember that our P is negative, so that means that our vertex, let me just go back so we know, our vertex is going to be of a parabola that's facing down because our P is negative. See that? So that means that this first thing that we drew right here is going to be our directrix. So this is our directrix. We don't want our directrix, right? We want to know what our focus is. So our focus is going to be also 2 points away from our vertex, and it's going to be right here. So what is this coordinate? This coordinate is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. So our answer is going to be +3 and -4. That is going to be our focus. And you can go ahead and take this and check your work. 3 comma -4 is our focus, and we are done. All right. Try the check for understanding, do some delta math problems, and you're finished. Good job.